main event in the undercard. We're going to see the war. I can't wait for tonight's fights. This should be a sensational.
When I heard about this, I could not believe this fight was made. It's going to be an unbelievable fight. Two guys that just come to fight every time they step in the ring. Both undefeated. Wow.
We had the chance to talk to all four of the main fighters for tonight, and every one of them says he's going to win. Every one of them is full of confidence. Every one of them can convince you that he can win. And two guys that say, well, we're just going to brawl. It's unbelievable. Well, we're just about set to get our first fight of the evening underway. It's going to be a featherweight battle featuring Jose Angel Baranza and Evgeny Gradovich. And here comes a tremendous Russian making his way in, wearing the colors of Mexico and the Mexican hat. Evgeny Gradovich, 13-0 from Oxnard, California now. Long amateur career in Eastern Europe with 300-plus fights. He has a host of amateur titles. This kid turned pro in March of 2010 with a first-round KO over Travis Bedwell in Kentucky that knocked out 5 of his first 6 opponents. Now let's take a look at the tail of the tape, and it'll tell us a few things as you look at it. You see, Gradovich is going to be 3 inches taller. He's 11 years younger. The weight virtually the same, and the reach 6 inches in favor of Gradovich. So everything is favoring Evgeny Gradovich, the undefeated fighter at 13-0. Tonight's show is brought to you by Tecate con character. All right, our first fight of the evening is just about ready to get underway. Evgeny Gradovich with the undefeated record at 13-0. And Carlos Jose Angel Baranza is a terrific fighter. We'll talk about it more. But now it's time to go and get this underway with Lupe Contreras. So Lupe, go ahead and take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with the action here at the Home Depot Center. Once again, this next bout being brought to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, in association with La Cerveza Tecate, patrocinador oficial. This bout scheduled for a maximum of 8 rounds in the featherweight division. The judges scoring the action are Pat Connolly, Sergio Gais, and Dr. James Jenkin. The referee, Wayne Hedgepeth. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing red with white trim. He weighed in officially at 125 1/2 pounds. After entering the ring 61 times at a professional level, he maintains a record consisting of 35 victories against 24 defeats, 2 draws, and 27 of his victories coming by way of knockout. De la Ciudad de México, DF, Jose Angel Baranza. His opponent in the red corner. He steps in wearing white with red and blue. He weighed in at an identical 125 1/2 pounds. And he enters the ring an undefeated fighter with 13 victories. 7 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Oxnard, California, the Mexican-Russian, Evgeny Gradovich.
Wayne Hedgepeth, the referee, calls him in.
In the dressing room, obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch him up and come back out.
All right, this fight is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. 10-point must-scoring system, no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved with the bell in any round. Only the referee or the doctor can stop the fight here. In other words, the doctor in California has the same authority as the referee, but I've never been any place where the ref disregarded the doctor's wishes, so it's kind of a, but it is a rule here that the doctor can stop the fight. Okay, here we go. Get into any headbutts or anything. Carlos and I will explain it to you. The principal's in there, Jose Angel Baranza in the red trunks and in the white trunks. What they call him, the Mexican-Russian?
The Mexican-Russian.
Evgeny Gradovich. Well, he's a Russian. but he knows that he has a heavy Mexican audience down here in Southern California, and he's fighting a kid from Mexico City, Distrito Federal. Evgeny, a very well-schooled fighter with, I think we mentioned 300+ amateur fights, fighting all over the world, so he's very confident fighting over here. He's kind of a European-style guy in that he holds the hands fairly high, but he's a little wide with some of his shots in the fights that I've seen in Carlos. What's your first thoughts about Evgeny?
Well, you know, a lot of times when the guy has that many amateur fights, it takes a while to learn the pro style and settle down. He's up against this guy with quite a bit of experience. Baranza with sort of 35, over 60 fights, looks like.
Yeah, well, he's become kind of an opponent-type fighter, but he's a very, very good fighter as Baranza. I saw him in the early days in the old Guilty Boxing series. He turned pro in '96 with a loss and then went on to win 7 fights in a row, 6 by knockout. He's just an experienced old pro.
Let him out. Box.
Lost 7 of his last 10 fights and 3 of his last 4, but he's been 10 or more rounds 20 times in his career. I saw him lose an 8-round decision to Roberto Marroquin in July last year in Denver, but he was tough in that fight too, as I expect he'll be here against Gradovich.
Well, he's moving well. He looks like he's decided he's going to try to box and stay away from Gradovich.
Every once in a while he'll go almost southpaw. Gradovich whacks him with a nice straight jab and another jab. Now Gradovich has settled down more. His punches have more accuracy right now than when he started out with. He started winging pretty wide. Now he's going back to what he does best. Really nice jab.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
Hand. Third man in the ring, Wayne Hedgepath. Excellent referee here in the state of California. Wanting the two fighters to watch their heads. In some of the preliminary fights here, we've had a couple of technical decisions, actually technical draws because of headbutts, so we don't want to see that in our main fights. Nice feigning by Gradovich, who has all of that Eastern European style where they move their head a lot and stands up quite a bit, but he's learning to fight more like an American style or Mexican style fighter since he's been here. He's trained by Evgeny Gradovich and Todd Anderson and Gilbert Perez. They all work that corner with him.
10 seconds, stop at the bell. Keep your punches up.
But notice he punches very stiff.
Time.
Stiff punches.
Bell ends round number 1. I think Gradovich landed more power and landed more punches, so I'm going to give him the round. Gradovich with his corner there. Seemed to be breathing too hard. He seemed totally under control.
I think it's going to be up to what kind of conditioning he has, whether he can stay on his feet and move for the 8 rounds to stay away from Gradovich. Looks to me like he's trying, chasing him down and throwing some stiff punches, trying to get him out.
Baranza is a typical Mexican-style fighter again. With all due respect to the great Mexican fighters, he comes at you and comes at you all the time. And he's got to show some side-to-side movement here, but he's got to try to get Gradovich off of his excellent boxing style too. He's got to try to get that body somehow. Remember, there's a big difference in height here. Gradovich is 3 inches taller and he has a 6-inch advantage in reach, so he could hypothetically stand back here and box. Baranza wants to mix it up and try to get in closer to him. Baranza in the red trunks finally clips him with the left hook. Gradovich makes him pay for it. Jenny whacks him with 2 or 3 shots on the inside. Has a tendency to use that elbow, does Gradovich, every once in a while. And the referee Hedgepath says, hey, watch the elbow. The guy gets in on him, he has a tendency to use it as a flipper. I don't think he means it. I think it's just a habit that he's in, but it's illegal.
I also noticed that he's kind of getting ahead of himself. He's trying a little bit too hard to get to him, and he's getting off balance. He's throwing punches that are not close to landing. So he's got to settle down a little bit, relax, and do his thing.
Yeah, he's fired up. There's no question about it. But what he needs to do, and what Carlos is saying, is get back to landing the jab and then work off the jab. You know, he's kind of bypassing the jab sometimes and just throwing to set up his right hand and throwing wild hooks. Now, there was a series of punches. He threw 5 hard punches, not any of them landed. Baranza came back and caught him with 4 or 5 punches and 1 landed too. So that isn't the type of exchange that is beneficial to either guy. Baranza's going to have more trouble getting to Evgeny Gradovich.
No lean on his neck. No lean on his neck.
Gradovich tries to hunt him down and get that jab going again, but he wants to open it up. He hasn't settled down yet, Carlos. You know, he's still...
No, he's a jittery. He's a little jittery. Yeah. He's kind of jumpy and
jittery is a good word. I like that because that describes exactly what he is. Land a few of these, and Baranza's going to look on his face like he's in pain right now. And that's just from backing up and taking some of these wild shots that Gradovich has thrown. Evgeny Gradovich from Russia, living and fighting in the United States in Oxnard, California. Not far from here. The sun is set now in the beautiful arena. This is a perfect arena for boxing. It's a tennis arena, and the seats kind of go straight up, and even the people in the back row have a great view of the eyesight to the ring. It's a wonderful place to watch boxing. Could seat about what, maybe 10,000?
It looks like
7 to 10,000. It's a really nice arena. And of course, the crowd continues to filter in here because everybody wants to see the big fights that are coming up here tonight. I mean, you talk about when this Alvarado Rios fight was announced. I think the tickets were going out that day, and it's hard to get them. So this place will be jammed. What a good round for Gradovich. Baranza forced the fight quite a bit, but I don't think he scored many points.
I think Gradovich just has to relax a little bit, calm down, and set up, use his jab, set up his combinations.
This is Baranza, Jose Angel Baranza. The record is 35, 24 and 2, 27 knockouts. In 10 or more rounds in his career, 20 times. Evgeny has never been 10 rounds as a professional. But again, we mentioned for a 25-year-old kid and already having 300+ amateur fights, it's some boxing career already. Here we go, round number 3. The Colonel Bob Sheridan here with Carlos Palomino. We're in the Home Depot Center in Carson, California. Our principals, Jose Angel Baranza in the red trunks with the white trim, just get clipped with the left hook by Evgeny Gradovich, who's in the white trunks with the colors of the Mexican flag on it, plus blue. His left hook landed there. Again, this is round 3. Gradovich, in my opinion, has won the first 2 rounds. Baranza is the type of guy that you got an undefeated professional fighter in Gradovich, even though he's only 13. He's like a guy with maybe 30 professional fights with all the amateur background he has. So this Baranza, who can give you a few rounds and is a tough Mexican fighter, is a good opponent. Great matchmaking by the people at Top Rank with him. Gradovich is a very workmanlike sort of guy, just keeps plodding forward, nothing fancy about his footwork. You're trying to cut this guy off because Baranza has a pretty good movement, and Gradovich trying to catch up with him right now. Baranza lunges up, and Gradovich lets go with 3 or 4 punches, and referee Hedgepeth says, keep him up. Hedgepeth, that is. Wayne Hedgepeth.
He's throwing a lot of, that's what happens when you have that many amateur fights. He's throwing a lot of punches, like amateur type punches, but just quick and fast. There's nothing really on them, as far as power. You notice that he just stakes back.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Gradovich has tremendous one-punch knockout power, but he accumulates a lot of punches in his 13 professional fights. He does have 7 knockouts, but they're more or less of the accumulation of punches type rather than the big blast one-punch knockout style punch. Here's Baranza showing how tough he